Hello. In our last video, we talked about how to rent a car in Europe. We covered issues like planning ahead for insurance, what kind of coverage you need, what options you need, where to pick your car up, etc. And then we covered some things about things you need to resolve before leaving the lot and returning the car. In this video, we're going to talk about driving in Europe. So now you've got your car and you're ready to get on the road. The first thing we need to determine is where we're going to drive to. We need a GPS or a map. We'll come across signs that are confusing. We'll come across diversions and changes. And whether you're driving the Italian Alps or the German Autobahn, two things you're going to run into most European towns are pedestrians and bicyclists. And there are many of them. So we'll begin our discussion by focusing on that and then move on to signs and a few other things. As a driver in Europe, we need to raise our awareness of pedestrians and bicycles. In some countries, there are lanes for bicycles, in others there aren't, but priority is generally given to pedestrians and bicycles. We need to be aware of this. One of the things that sometimes surprises us is that in the US, we can make a right turn on a red. So when you hit a red traffic light and you want to turn right, you can make that turn. In much of Europe, that's illegal, so be aware of that. Secondly, often when you're waiting to turn right, there'll be bicyclists on your right and pedestrians on your right who have the right to cross the street in front of you even as you're making that right turn. So before making that right turn, we need to look back not only for bicycles and pedestrians who are stationary next to you, but also bicyclists who might be rapidly approaching that intersection, intending to go straight through. Another situation that happens is when you arrive at an intersection with no signs, and this is not uncommon. The general rule is right before left. That means the car on the right has the priority over the car on the left. So that's something to watch for an added level of safety. Next, let's take a look at some road signs. This one here is no stopping. And this one here is no overtaking, kind of similar to what we see in the US. And this one here is the end of no overtaking. And that's a different sign. And this one talks about a toll road, lets you know you are on a toll road. And this talks about priority, says give way to oncoming traffic. And that's a no right turn. And bring that up because of the no right turn rule. And this is a right turn light. Note that it's illegal to pass on the right in Europe. Overtaking is only on the left, and after you've completed your procedure, move back to the right lane. Next, let's take a look at speed enforcement. There are speed detectors on radar in much of Europe, and tickets are automatically generated and they'll be sent to your rental car company, who will forward them to you after the trip. We know that there are parts of the Autobahn that have no speed limit, but other than for those areas, be sure to drive within the speed limit to avoid surprises after your return from vacation. Next, let's take a look at parking. Whether you're parking in an underground garage or on the street or a high-rise building, parking tends to be difficult to find and expensive. So don't assume that hotels and restaurants include free parking. Make sure to check with them before you begin the journey. Being able to parallel park will help you park on the streets where that opportunity presents itself. Next, let's talk about tolls. There are many toll roads in Europe, and most of them will accept touch cards. But some stations are not manned or only accept cash, so be sure to have some cash with you. Moving on to gas stations. Most gas stations will accept credit cards. However, in some smaller towns, sometimes gas stations are unattended and their credit card reader may not work as you had hoped, so it's always good to have some cash with you. It's important to know whether you need diesel or gasoline. Putting the wrong fuel into the car can damage the engine. Next, let's take a look at some potential destinations you can visit now that you have wheels. One of them is Neuschwanstein Castle. It's a beautiful Disney-like castle. It's a great drive down there, and you're passing by some beautiful scenery as you get down there. The Marienbrück is a bridge that spans two mountaintops right next to the castle, and then you can drive by some of the smallest villages, and of course there's nothing to beat driving through the mountains. Below you'll find a link to a book that includes much of this information, and 5 fantastic drives and 4 fantastic day hikes that you could drive to. I hope this was helpful, and thanks for watching.